the Roman culture and society spread from 750 BC to 450 AD. Again, it's a different society, it's a different culture, and therefore their six elements will be slightly different too. So let's take a look. What were the educational goals, the purpose of a Roman education? Picking from the Greeks, it continues with civic responsibility for the empire, just for the Romans, administrative and military skills as well. So we see that partly there is a Greek influence because the Greeks also had the military piece to their education purpose and the civic responsibility piece. It continues with the Romans in a similar fashion. Students, again, males between the ages of 7 to 20. We still see only males receiving an education. However, in the Greeks and in the Romans, it is not limited to males of the upper class only. All males, any male between the ages of 7 to 20 was to receive an education. So there is a change, there is a difference. We are now seeing that it is still male members, but it is going down to the lower levels of society as well. Instructional methods were still memorization and recitation in ludus, declamation in rhetorical schools. So again, we see two trends. There is memorizing. Ludus is the primary school for everybody. Memorization and recitation happens there. Declamation is the ability to create and give a speech. Can you declaim? Can you talk about something? Those skills were provided in rhetorical schools only to a section of the privileged society of the Roman times period. The curriculum was then reading, writing, arithmetic, law, and philosophy. So we see how the curriculum begins to expand and how new areas or new subjects are added as the need arises. And we see that today too. If we teach the same thing, if the Romans taught what the pre-literate societies taught or what the early Chinese taught, they would not have been that successful. They saw the need and the reality to bring in the different additional subjects as the need arose, and they did. And that was a step in the right direction. Agents who taught private schools and teachers schools of rhetoric. So there were teachers, there were special people. These were not elite, these were not upper class anybody, but there were teachers in private schools and in schools of rhetoric. Yes, the kind of teachers were different. In private schools that only focused on memorization and recitation, the teachers had different skills to use for teaching and learning, while in the rhetoric schools where declamation and speeches and stuff like that had to come in, the teachers had to have different skills to enable the young people to learn according to the particular need. And so we see now not only a bifurcation in education for students, but a bifurcation in what teachers need to be able to teach at the two different types of schools. Influence on education, practical administrative skills, relate education to civic responsibility. Now, the key terms here are practical administrative skills. Not just administrative skills, practical. That can be delivered if you were in an administrative position with the government or even in private firms. If you had those skills, you had to be able to use them. Simply knowing the skills, simply possessing the skills was not seen as good enough. Practicality and the ability to use those skills was required.